I'm here with my good friend Julie O'Connor, and we are going to do some mind probing today. What's going on, Julie? How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing better, so no complaints. Let's get into it a little bit. So I've been out to your demos about 2 or 3 times by now, and I'm kind of interested to pick to get your thoughts and to see, where you're coming from in regards to animal rights and what it is that you guys do. So, would you mind speaking to me about CAAF and what the group as a whole represents? And is this group solely your group?
So Caring Activists Against Fur, which the acronym is CAAF, was started 20 years ago with a partner of mine, Debbie Kowalski at the time, and she went on to work in other areas of animal protection. But we started 20 years ago because we saw a vacuum in animal protection and animal rights where people weren't focused exclusively on the fur trade at the time. So we saw that vacuum because we had both experienced some great activism in the 80s with the anti-fur movement being so popular, and then it had a bit of a drop-off and fur had made a resurgency. So in 2002 we started because we wanted to get the street activism back and let people know that fur is unacceptable and so cruel, and we wanted to make sure the kids knew, because anytime that you don't remind people about the cruelty, they have a whole new generation who is starting to wear it with the trim and things like that. So that's what we wanted to accomplish with creating CAAF. And I guess the proof is in the pudding, because we definitely have accomplished a heck of a lot in my group. And what happened is, over the years, people have dropped off. So at this point, I am the lead organizer, the director of the organization. I'm lucky enough to have other people helping me at this stage, but we've been through a lot of itinerations, and a lot of people come and go. The door's always open if they want to come back.
Wow, that's great. That's a great description. Now, would you describe to me what are some of your short-term goals? And now short-term is being 1 year and less.
Well, the particular short-term goal I have is, we have one fur store left that we target in New Jersey. I would love to see that one closed up because they become financially not solvent. And that would be great to see them close up, as the way all the other fur stores have closed up. Or, of course, we welcome them just getting rid of their fur and them transitioning into selling coats that don't have animal cruelty in them. I have no problem if they want to do that. That would be a short-term goal. Long-term would be regarding just that education. And, and that is what we actually accomplish with every demo, even in the short term, is I'm educating every car full of people that are there about fur. They go online, they learn more about it, helps them connect the dots. And so I'm accomplishing those goals every time I'm out there.
And an intermediate term goal?
Right, so intermediate would be, I would say that we're looking to move the legislation that has already started and the brands that have already ended fur. But legislation banning the sale of fur has started in some communities out west. That would be tremendous if that starts to get into more communities. New York City had explored a fur ban in the last city council cycle, and that would be amazing if we could accomplish that. And I could do anything in my power to help them with that coalition of people working for a ban of New York City fur sales. That would be a great intermediate goal.
Now, is there a particular legislative law that you could name off that goes in description of everything that you just said?
Well, basically, I would imagine that any day now, another bill to ban the sale of fur in New York might drop, because it's a new cycle of council people, new mayor, and I don't have the law just at this moment.
Okay.
So, but hopefully that'll be something we can jump on board behind. Also, I want to tell you that in New Jersey, where I'm based, and by the way, I should say that CAAF it addresses New York and New Jersey for protesting. But in New Jersey, where I'm based, we also have laws that are trying to get rid of trapping and things that impact fur-bearing animals. So we're trying to look to always promote the compassionate treatment of wild animals used in the fur trade as well.
Got you. And so, talking about animals and people, and combining the two together to form animal rights activists and the movement as a whole, would you mind speaking with me and getting your perspective on where are we exactly in the AR movement right now?
So an interesting perspective that I have is 20 years ago, I started this organization. So I have the 20 years experience as a leader. Before that, I went to my first demonstrations when I was 12 years old. I went to the very first Fur Free Friday by a group called Trans Species Unlimited. So I'll take it old school. I've been to demos that were against the donkey diving. There was this show down in Atlantic City at the pier where they had a donkey.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
I know. I've been to a lot. I've seen a lot. I know a lot of people in the movement, and I would say that where the movement is now is we're having some tremendous sea changes in perception. I think that the idea of using and abusing animals is just not viewed, it's viewed as morally wrong. Whereas previously, I don't know that people necessarily thought about that. I would say that where the movement though needs to go is we need to link the changing hearts and minds to legislation and being strategically intelligent. Because I mean, people who think, oh, I can, vote however I want on other issues, and that somehow it doesn't impact animal protection. They're incorrect. You have to look at what is the best way forward for this issue you care about, and look for the candidates to support, and also look for the legislation you want to support. And we just have to be a little smarter and also be a little bit more practical, because utopia doesn't happen overnight. And while I don't believe in making Faustian bargains with the devil, I would say that you have to be smart and know how politics works. So let's get some good things, let's get some wins. And if you look at somebody like Eric Adams, who's now the mayor of New York City, the man he was running up against was great at cat rescue, Curtis Sliwa, and people had a lot of misgivings about Eric Adams. Would he, how would he be? But I have to tell you, he has expanded the conversation about veganism in a way I never thought he would. He is doing vegan days at the city's public schools, and he's doing vegan clinics at the city hospitals. It's beyond my wildest dreams that he would have pushed that agenda so quickly and in turn saved so many animals' lives. So we have to be strategically important and build bridges, and just don't cut people off if they can help the cause for animals. That's where I want people to go next.
It's a great answer right there. I'm smiling over here behind the camera, just because I'm agreeing with everything you're saying 10,000%. Without a doubt. Very impactful. I'll tell you, it's going to give me something to think about after we're finished here, for sure. So, leading to the next question is, and you kind of touched upon it, but elaborate a little bit more when I say, are we on the right path when it comes to achieving animal liberation?
I think we're on a path.
That's to say the path, maybe.
A path,
right?
The right path. We like any good cause has to always revisit the best messaging techniques. Our message is correct. but what's the best messaging? So this group, Animal Protection League of New Jersey, they used to be called New Jersey Animal Rights Alliance, and JARA. They changed their name to Animal Protection League of New Jersey many years ago because they knew that this name would be having people be less defensive, right? So something about the word animal rights, in the messaging wasn't as, it was a little scarier than animal protection, right? Animal protection. So I don't have all the answers. Nobody does. And what works to convince one person doesn't work to convince another person.
Right.
But we should never stop learning because we are in the people convincing business.
Facts.
Right?
Big facts.
So we should never stop learning about, I got, a 20-year-old kid in a group who says, I can put this stuff going viral on social media. I'll say, yes, you do it. I know I'm too old. I'm 47. I don't know anything about that. But you know what? That has value. You can go help us. Please do it. But there's stuff I don't know how to do. There's stuff I do know how to do. And we can continue on a better path because we really have no choice. You always want to get more people. You always want to convince more people. Yeah, we can always get that better path.
No, absolutely.
But I'm happy with what we've accomplished. And if you don't mind just allowing me to talk about that 20 years ago when I started the group, all of the targets that we started in New York City, Macy's, Bergdorf Goodman, Bloomingdale's, Lord & Taylor, Saks Fifth Avenue, none of them have fur salons anymore in the 20 years. It was relentless activism we did. Burlington Colt Factory, we were quintessential in having them get rid of their fur. Now that we're down to just like one fur store left that we do in New Jersey.
That's right.
So we are talking like, yeah, I'm happy with the path. I want 100% though. I don't want 90, I want 100%.
Yeah, no, I love the passion. And I love the consistency, that's what it's about, It's like I have a very feast or famine personality. And for me, when I put on, that's it. Like, I don't let it go, And you sound exactly the same way.
Yeah.
So that's...
it's a good trait to have. You gotta be a lifer.
Right. It's a blessing and a curse because, you had spoken about, we just wrapped up basically an hour and a half event in front of Stephen Core and Maximilian Furs. And Julie had spoken a little something to the attendees at the event saying, to pace yourself, and this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon over here. And we do very much see, a lot of burnout in this movement. And so, that is something to definitely be mindful of. Going forth, and you had a couple golden nuggets that you had said over there after your post brief, during the post brief, I should say. So, what's the best piece of advice that you can give to other AR groups, and what is the best piece of advice you can give to individuals who are participating within all of these groups?
So I would say for individuals, be mindful of being online. I think online is a big time suck. Online is, and also an energy suck. So you start to inevitably get involved with debates. And keyboard warriors are kind of like a bit of a sore point for me.
Yeah.
I have very little interest in debating tactics. I'm going to go out and do my tactic, and hopefully other people will join me, That takes energy, that takes time. Expend the energy and the time of the animals. And then more broadly for every protester and every group, it's about work-life balance. So make sure that if you're doing a demo on a Saturday, spend time with your family and friends on a Sunday, or alone time. Just have a little time to yourself. I don't really see the internet fitting into that, too much. So just be aware. That's just a little personal advice. But also I would say that for the organizations, you want to tell your activists that you value them, that they're important.
Absolutely.
That you definitely can't be there without them. And they know you care about them. I go to my activists' private events. I have interest in their lives. It's a job for me but in a good way.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? But I don't take volunteers for granted, and they know I will protect them too. So it's not about me. If I feel something's getting heated or something, I want to diffuse situations because my activist safety is the most important part. And that's why people feel very comfortable bringing little kids to my demonstrations. Older people, because they know I have a certain,
aura, energy to
and a responsibility toward them. So I would say work-life balance. The most important thing is being present for the animals. We have all been touched by some message from whatever it is you want to ascribe it to. Maybe God, maybe not, whatever. But there's something inside of you that decided that you were going to spend your time helping animals, some of your time helping animals. So for God's sake, take some of the time and help animals. Just do it. The old Nike thing. Just do it, right? And when it's the groups of the animal rights organizations, just plan some stuff. Get out there, because look at the tremendous success that this little grassroots group has had. We have made our mark on the fur industry. Just doing it.
Absolutely. So when is the next event coming up for CAAF?
I usually try to do one a month and probably get something going for March. I gotta just pick the right time. Obviously, we have a season. We started in October, and as soon as I know, I will let you know.
Awesome. Now, going forth, is there any new techniques or anything that you're thinking from the last couple of months of doing these events for going? Dating back to 2021 to where we are now, which is Q1 of 2022, that you think you might implement, anything that you might change, or are there things that you can note really well in your head that you're doing good at as far as the events go that you would like to just capitalize on for other organizers or attendees who are going to be listening to this interview later on?
Yeah, so I would say, we've gotten to explore a lot of different things. Right before COVID, we had about 2 years worth where we pooled our money and took donations, and we got anti-fur billboards. And those were a tremendous, activism tool, if possible. They were month-long, 24/7 billboards that were like a fur protest all the time for a full month. And we did them in different areas of Jersey with tremendous high volume traffic. So that's something I want to go back to, pooling money to do some of those. I think that's great activism. We have a nice banner that we have at our demos. We've always used the television when we do the street activism in New York. That's an amazing tool. But I would say that the areas I can grow in, but it would require a person to help, because you can't do it all. Right. But would be a social media presence as far as like Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, and the things that the younger people are good at. PETA seems to be very good at getting younger people to know about these issues because they're on those platforms, which is not my necessarily comfort zone. But I would think that's an area that we could probably do better at, but always to serve the purpose of having those activists, those young people, show up to something.
Absolutely.
Because it's not enough to just not wear fur, although it's great. I want you advocating to not wear fur. I want you telling your friends to not wear fur.
Absolutely.
And that's what we can use. So that's an area we can go do better on. I would say that just to keep informed with our events and even our billboard drives, our website, the easiest way to get to it is called shameonfur.org as one word, and that'll take you right to CAAF's website and our different campaigns.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up there. I mean, there's so much information. I feel like after we finish recording this, I think I'm going to listen to it 2-3 times back just because, it's just too much on the first go, It's definitely noteworthy information, you know, that I'm going to keep in the back of my head for the next couple months going forth. So thank you so much for your time, Julie. Thank you for being a friend, and I love the events, and keep up the good work.
Thank you for your activism. Thank you.
All right, everybody, have a good rest of the day. Bye.